Good morning, everybody, and what a show I have for you today. We're going to cover French fried jet fuel. No joke. And Governor Newsom's gaslighting the black community with the task force to nowhere. Then we're going to do a Where's Waldo Ozark Nature Edition. I need your help identifying some of this stuff and advice on what to do. You know, I understand that a lot of people don't tune in to that part of the show, but listen, I know there are a lot of other great homesteading channels out there, but this is homesteading for the simple person. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time, and this makes it not such a scary thing when you see somebody like me who doesn't necessarily have a green thumb or necessarily know exactly what I'm doing. Put my faith in God and trust that He's going to give me the answers along with all of you. That's what this is all about. It's about all of us on this channel and all of us that tune in to the shows working together to solve problems. As far as I know, a lot of the homesteaders out there, well, I won't say that. A lot of them do interact with their subscribers, but once they get to a certain size, it's really hard to interact with all of your subscribers. And we are doing homesteading with God at the center. Don't really see that a whole lot with the homesteaders out there. God is at the center, and we're awake. So that's another facet of it that you're not getting on other homesteading channels. We're not only preparing for whatever there is to come, but we're also exercising our rights. We're also fully awake to the religious paradigm as well as the political paradigm. And a lot of homesteaders aren't doing that. So I hope that you're getting something out of that. It's not just me playing around on my property. This is supposed to be an example for all of you, and also to brainstorm, all of us talking about this stuff, getting ideas, things you might not have thought of yet, and also making this not such a scary thing. You guys, if you would have met me when I was younger, you would have been like, you would have never thought that I could do something like this. And it wasn't me doing it, of course. It's the Most High. I'm just holding on, right? When you live in His will, He'll open up those doors and make it not so scary for you. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there, maybe females, that don't have someone in their life that can help them through the process like this. And my answer to that is there are females on this channel who are already doing it, who would be more than willing to help you, which is, again, another reason to come here, because I've seen it right here in the chat. Some females saying that they've already done this. I think Angie's one of them. I see Angie there. Yeah, it's raining. Can you guys hear the rain on the roof? So there's lots of resources here to help. That's what this is all about. It's not about, oh, there's better homesteading channels out there, Casey. I just tune out because I'm just here for the spiritual stuff. Well, the spiritual stuff, the whole foundation of it is where you exist on this planet. And how we're going to position ourselves going into the last days. This is what this channel has always been about. I'm simply trying to show it to you now, which has been impressed upon me by the Most High. He wants you prepared. He doesn't want you scared. He doesn't want you with a big question mark going into the last days. He wants you to have confidence that you're not going to be trapped in some situation, right? And just have faith. Have a little faith. God will do the rest. It's baby steps. You know, I remember when I first got this land, I saved the money for 2 years, $13,000. It seemed like forever. And I made sacrifices. I didn't eat out. I didn't do a lot of things that I wanted to do during those years. And everybody thought I was crazy. Why are you buying land in the middle of nowhere? Well, guess what? Now we know why. God is good. He's amazing. He can accomplish anything. I know several of you that live in your cars or live on land. And these are females who are doing this. So reach out to each other. And those who are already doing it, please stand up in the chat so other females can reach out to you. And then there's the other plan that God has, which is the natural order, which is having a husband in your life. And maybe there's that person that's been knocking at your door for years and years, and you've seen their character, and you've seen their trust. Maybe it's time to give that person a chance. Now, I'm just speaking from the heart here because I've seen the concerns, I've seen the worry, I've seen the fear, okay? And sometimes you have to go on faith. The natural order is to have a husband. He is the conduit to Christ for you as a woman. That's the natural order of things. The world has told us something different. Of course, people's experience has been something different. I understand that. People have been abused. They've been wronged. They've been ripped off. Okay? I understand that. So be very careful as you navigate those waters. But there are plenty of other sisters in Christ that are here, that are already doing this. You simply have to connect with them, and they would be more than happy to help you. The same way my male friends are helping me. You know, I get advice all the time. I had a wonderful brother. He's going to send me some DeWalt, they're his used ones, but he's like, hey, you can have these. You just got to buy batteries for them. He's going to send me some drills. He's like, dude, you got to upgrade that drill. And I don't even have a P.O. box, so I just went on faith. I gave him my address. So he's going to send me those drills. I'm like, what a blessing, right? What a blessing. And I want you guys to feel some of that love too amongst your brothers and sisters. Okay? And you totally can. Because there are a lot of really, really cool people in our community. So don't shy away from those videos. You're going to need this, trust me. As we go into the last days, we are going to need to prepare on some level. Not that you're going to have a full-blown homestead, but, you know, that's what I'm trying to get across to you. Now, let's get into some more of these headlines today, because there's some crazy stuff happening, you guys. And one of you solved the mystery of the butterfly. I had a butterfly on the homesteading video that we did yesterday. Here it is right here. This is the butterfly. Now, some of you thought this was a swallowtail, and it's actually a swallowtail knockoff. This butterfly is called the red-spotted purple admiral, and it mimics the poisonous swallowtail butterfly, which is down here. You'll see how similar it looks. Here's the one that we saw, that we filmed, and here is the, let's get down. Oh, no, that's the red-spotted purple. Hold on, let me go down here. Here's the swallowtail, pipevine swallowtail. These are supposedly toxic to wildlife, and so the admiral mimics that so that it can, you know, piggyback off of that defense mechanism. So thanks for the subscriber who sent that answer in. So I love you guys. We're a community. Now, what else are we going to talk about today? Well, there's been a cure for pancreatic cancer. We're going to talk about the IamLegend scenario, where the cancer cure turns humanity into a horde of zombies, and many, many other stories. So let's go ahead and get started. You guys, we are inching towards a radioactive future. It is now official, as the controllers have finally admitted what we've been saying all along, and not just us on this channel, but many, many other channels and many other people have been saying this forever, that you can never put up enough wind and solar to create the kind of energy you would need to switch everything over. We would, if that was to happen, we'd literally be living in a Ready Player One scenario, with surrounded by toxic junk, mecha, shipping containers, stack and pack, you know, used solar panels. We'd literally be buried in it over time. It would look like a junkyard. And so they're admitting this. This is out of the Telegraph. They're admitting that they can't do it. They're coming to terms with it, which they already knew. The wind and solar were just money-making pipe dreams. A scam. Something that sounded good, but in practice was a complete travesty and a failure. So the government spent billions, maybe even trillions, propping up wind and solar. And at that point, it was like they were just making a bunch of money. You guys, there are entire industries based off wind energy. In fact, you know, these windmills, they're lots and lots of jobs, and it's all government subsidized. People making a lot of money. At one time, I was like, maybe that would be something that Max might want to do. Maybe he'll want to, get him maintain these windmills. I'm glad he didn't pursue that. The first thing he said to me was, "Dad, I'm afraid of heights." I said, "Okay, son." Well, because they had programs. You could sign up for a program. I think it was like 10 grand to get training so that you can climb up these windmills, and then they start you at like $75,000 a year or something. So I was like, well, maybe that'll be something you can do. But anyway, so let's read about this. Look at this. The wind and solar power myth has finally been exposed. I can't believe they're admitting this. Many governments in the Western world have committed to net zero emissions of carbon in the near future. US and UK both say they will deliver by 2050. It's widely believed that wind and solar power can achieve this. This belief has led the US and British governments, among others, to promote and heavily subsidize wind and solar. These plans have a single fatal flaw. They are reliant on the pipe dream that there is some affordable way to store surplus electricity at scale. In the real world, a wind farm's output often drops below 10% of its rated capacity for days at a time. Solar power disappears completely overnight and drops by 50% or more during cloudy days. Capacity being a largely meaningless figure for a wind or solar plant, about 3,000 megawatts of wind and solar capacity is needed to replace a 1,000 megawatt conventional power station in terms of energy over time. And in fact, as we shall see, the conventional power station, or something very like it, will still be needed frequently once the wind and solar are online. So, they're admitting that it's a bridge to nowhere, right? And so, all of a sudden, now that they're switching off of that, guess what they're going to next? Nuclear. And voila, the polls say that U.S. support for nuclear power soars. Now, of course, I don't believe this, but they're just going to say whatever they want just to push their agenda, right? U.S. support for nuclear power soars? Seriously? I don't think so. I think people just want to stay doing gas, and they don't believe the global warming science. That's what I think is really happening in the truth. Oh, look, a Gallup poll. Why do they call it a Gallup poll? Probably because the horse got out of the stall, and they know it. Gallup poll released in late April found that 55% of U.S. adults support the use of nuclear power. No, they don't. That's up 4 percentage points from last year and reflects the highest level of public support for nuclear energy use in electricity since 2012. Well, and maybe they do. But why? Why would people now support nuclear power? Let's see who gets it in the chat here. Welcome, everybody. Why would a bunch of people now support nuclear power? Think cart before the horse in terms of this Gallup poll. Let's see who gets it. Yeah, nobody asked me either, Star Drive Paintings. Let's see. Why would people now want nuclear power? Let's see who gets it. Yeah, exactly. DM Ryan. More depleted uranium. They're radiating truthers. Money. Sheldon's close. Think about cart before the horse. I'll give you a clue, and then I'll give you the answer. Why would people want more nuclear power for electricity? Why are we starting so early? Answer, they say it's clean energy, says Cheryl. Okay, let me give you the answer. Because they've already forced a bunch of people on electric vehicles. Right? So, here's what they did first. They said, let's force everybody onto electric vehicles, which is what they're doing with legislation in California and other states. Guys, I was in California, 6 months ago or longer? I can't remember. But every other car was a Tesla. That was in the Bay Area, of course, but So people are upset. They don't have enough electricity. They're having blackouts. Of course, now all of a sudden they're going to want nuclear power to subsidize that. They wouldn't have wanted it before if there wasn't a bunch of extra electric vehicles drawing off the grid and mandatory electric stoves and blackouts. Then they wouldn't care. Let's go back to the way it was. But since they forced everybody into the electric kingdom, of course people are going to want more nuclear power plants because they're going to think, well, that's the answer. So, unbelievable. Let's keep going here. So, nuclear power soars, the desire for it. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, it's time to escape from New York and escape from LA for that matter. There won't be any natural gas in New York State when the harsh winters hit and the power goes out. That is, unless they build a nuclear power plant. New York has just passed a law banning gas stove hookups for new buildings. Now, they're laughing at these people because this lady said, we're not going to take away your gas stoves. And that's exactly what they did. New York becomes the first state to ban natural gas stoves and furnaces in most new buildings. If you're living in New York State and you follow this channel, it may be time to escape from New York. Do you want to go through a blackout situation without your propane or natural gas? Now, I don't know what the rules are on gas boilers and all that, or heating oil. I know there's heating oil in the Northeast because I lived there for several years. I don't know if they're doing away with that as well, but if they haven't already, they soon will, and everything will be electric. And when all that's gone, good luck in 5 years. So, you've been warned. It's time to start possibly making plans to get out of these kinds of places. Because the future is not good. Okay? It's not good. Now, are you ready for this one? Hope you're sitting down for this one. What do you call a cross between a French fry and a nuclear bomb? Jet fuel! What? I'm not joking, you guys. Honeywell announces tech to turn hydrogen and CO2 into lower carbon aviation fuel. So they just announced here that this green jet fuel made out of hydrogen and used cooking oil. So now when you fly the friendly skies, is the cabin going to smell like McDonald's French fries? Possibly. Ain't no honey in that well. Let's read here. Air France, of course, Air France, right? Honeywell International announced on Wednesday a new technology to produce lower carbon aviation fuel from green hydrogen and carbon dioxide captured from industry, which can help cut greenhouse gas emissions from aviation, one of the hardest sectors to electrify and decarbonize. You think? Maybe because you need some very, very consistent and, fuel so that you don't fall out of the sky. Sustainable aviation fuel. Look at this. They call it safe, even though it's not safe. It's always the opposite of what they say. It ain't safe. You put hydrogen in an airplane and send it up inside of a lightning storm. That's called a French fry bomb. It's typically made using biomass-based feedstock such as soybean oil and used cooking oil. Oh, so now it's air soy. Honeywell's new technology could combine green hydrogen, produce electrolyzers from renewable energy and water, and carbon dioxide siphon off industrial smokestacks to create a lower carbon methanol. Look at all the work they have to do to get this stuff. You know how much your plane tickets are going to go up if they switch over to this? Honeywell said its process can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 88%. Of course it's 88%, right? Compared with traditional petroleum-based jet fuel. Blowjiven has targeted 3 billion gallons of safe production per year in the U.S. by 2030. Wow. I won't be flying. get myself an economy car. I don't care how many days it takes me to get to my family in California. I am not flying if these people put safe fuel in these airplanes. Oh boy. Safe is typically 2 or 4 times costlier than petroleum-based jet fuel. So, your tickets are going to go up 2 to 4 times. You see what they're trying to do. They're basically taking away your freedom to move about. Aren't they? They're taking away your freedom of mobility. Only the wealthy will be able to travel from state to state. They're going to have you in your 15-minute city, locked down, and you might think about going on vacation, but never get there because your plane ticket's going to be $2,000 to fly from New York to California. Unbelievable. Honeywell, more like a honey pot well. Jeez. Anyway, that's what's going on with jet fuel. Now, some of you have talked about a theory, and I've looked into this theory a bit, where basically engines don't even really need jet fuel. They need a little bit to ignite everything and get it turning. Once they get in the air, it self-propels because it forms like some kind of vortex as the wind crosses the engine. I don't know about that theory. I've looked into it. Some of it looks pretty legit, but I don't know. Have you guys heard about this theory before? Welcome, everybody. Let's go into the chat here for a minute before we get back to the Honey Milk Ranch. I need your guys' help because we're going to do a Where's Waldo of Nature. There's a couple questions I have to ask you. I know there's some homesteaders out there. Honeywell has their hands in everything, including thermostats, says Boomer Bear. Thanks for that bit of information. The P-51 aircraft ran on water in the 50s, says Denise. Oh, wow. Angie has a small car, great on gas. Mountains are killing it. Oh, let's see here. Will they eliminate gas stoves in the 5-star elite restaurants? Oh, one of you brought up a great point in the comment section. You're talking about people who work in restaurants and kitchens. And you were saying that you've seen people working in a kitchen and restaurant with gas stoves for 20, 30 years, and none of them had asthma or cancer. So there's your proof right there that their science is hogwash. So, thanks, Joe. Casey, I believe, is the longest person I followed on YouTube. Very nice to still be around. Much love to you, Joe. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. All right, you guys ready to go back to the Honey Milk Ranch? Let's take a look here. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out here. That is some loud rain. Not hail yet, but wow. Big thunderstorms rolling through. So, we got a bird. It's a black-capped chickadee. You can hear him. And he actually talks to me. Gosh, my whistling sucks. That's it. He was talking to me earlier. Anyway, grass is starting to come in. Looks like a green 5 o'clock shadow. Pretty funny. But it's not like coming in, you know, it's just like barely coming in. Oh, he flew back here. Let's see if we can go talk to him. Oh, so thanks to Rose, I went and picked up, here, let's go show you guys the plants. Rose gave me some thornless blackberry bushes. And she gave me some elderberry bushes. And I'm walking around in my underwear. Oh boy, here comes a neighbor. Let's see who it is. I just feel a little weird walking around in my underwear, but I should probably put clothes on. Who is that? Everybody waves. Anyway, thanks, Rose. Got to go see Rose's property over in Yellville. That is an elderberry. Yes, there is an actual town named Yellville, not far from me. And Rose invited me over to see her beautiful property and all her farm animals, lots of goats and sheep, and all of her animals are well cared for. Lots of cool dogs and everything. So thank you so much, Rose, if you're listening. That was an amazing visit. And she gave me all kinds of plants, and she's going to give me fruit trees, and she's got manure for days. So we're going to go back over there. When I say we, I mean all of us. And we're going to have like a cookout or something, or barbecue. Maybe if she's okay with it, we can film it. But if not, I won't film it. I'll just tell you about it. But let's keep listening here. Berry bush. She told me to plant these about 6 feet apart. And there's one there. There's one back there. And there's one right there. So 4 elderberry trees. And it's a little bit wet out here, so I was kind of hesitant to walk out here. So God is amazing, right? So things that seem intimidating, like getting fruit trees, like I was worried about this. I'm like, well, where am I going to get fruit trees? I don't have a lot of money. Well, how am I going to get a fruit tree? And then a sister in Christ messages me and says, I have some, and she lives literally like 35 minutes away from me. And I was like, what a blessing. Like, and that's how God works. Things that seem intimidating aren't, but we have to start talking to each other, don't we? And hopefully this will be a place where all of you can talk to each other and share, you know, clippings and seedlings and things like that with each other. And that's how we come together in Christ, through living in this life in the last days, right? Because this clay is like glue. You could literally do pottery with this clay. So here are my thornless blackberry bushes. There's one there. There's one there. That looks like a marigold. That leaf structure. Alright, so what is that? Is that a marigold leaf? Someone help me out in the chat. Because that's good, right? Because that keeps ticks away. Someone in the comments tell me what this is. This looks like a dandelion. Because look at the flower there. Is that a dandelion? It's got spikes on it. Okay, I'm going to go back in the chat because I need help. Help! Was that a marigold and was that a dandelion? Let's see here. Now we'll get to some more headlines after this short clip. Okay, let's see who gets it. Thorny blackberries taste better? Oh, so I should probably keep those. Okay, I'm so glad you guys said something. That is a dandelion. It's a weed. It says Catherine. Weed. Thistle. Now, I haven't seen the flowers yet. They haven't opened. You can eat thistle. Well, how do I eat thistle? Do I put it in like a tea? If it has stick, it's a... Whoa. Dandelion, weed, sow thistle. Okay, sow thistle, I think, wins. And the little plant was St. Anne's lace, maybe? Usually dandelions are super small. That thing was massive. It was like already 1.5 2 foot tall. So I think it's the south thistle. All right. Well, no, I don't think it's wild lettuce. Bees like thistle. That was wild lettuce? Really? Let's go back here. Let's take a look. See what I mean? I don't know what I'm doing. I need your guys' help. So this
must be really good for you, but this one has like thorns on it.
So this might be the south thistle. It's got thorns. It looks like a dandelion or from the dandelion family, but it's very large compared to a dandelion.
So I don't know. Can I eat this? Ah, so many questions. But I love that all of you guys have a lot of the answers, because you do this like all day. Homesteading, it's fun. This is my distribution box of my septic system, where these flags are. I put the flags in there because it was already run over once and it cracked the lid, which made me have to actually do a concrete job on it myself, because I didn't want to pay the couple $1,000s it was probably going to cost to fix it. So I fixed it with my own concrete. That's a septic field, and there's the 5 o'clock shadow grass trying to come in. I guess it's looking pretty good so far, especially given the fact that I didn't really put any fertilizer on it. I did throw some soil. See, it's trying. It's trying. But that's sawdust I threw over the top of that. And apparently it liked that, because it wasn't germinating before. It's called Cool Weather Fescue. And I think it's Transition Zone is the name of it. Now all this in here is existing blueberry bushes, or blackberry bushes. Oh God, I always get those confused. Look how cool the new leaves are when they come out. It's like all bunched up like a little baby. Look at that. And then it unfolds. God is amazing, isn't he? That will be fruit, you guys. That will be blackberries for me to eat. Then what I should do is pull out the thorn ones and then let the thornless ones grow in, because it's a whole lot easier to get around and harvest them.
So I just saw your suggestion in there that I should keep the thorn berries, because probably for multiple reasons, biodiversity, as well as some of you say they taste better. So I'll keep both.
But I've also been told to just simply keep this into a row so that it's not going out sideways, because you can't get to the berries in the middle. So I've been told to keep it in a row. So right now I've done that. It's all in one line. The forest back there prevents it from growing back there because it's not enough sunlight. And here I'll be able to mow to keep it from going out too far in the yard. Of course, there's a rock line there. But, yeah, so look at all these new shoots. These are all new shoots of the thorn bushes. So, maybe I should cut all this out. But I don't want to, because it's already, fruit's already starting to form. Look. So, I don't know. There are some more thornless. I just planted those from Rose. Thank you, Rose. She also gave me some jam and some eggs. I've got so many eggs from neighbors. It's amazing. So, what a beautiful day. Just want to give you guys an update. I think what we'll probably do is kind of interdisperse some of the homesteading stuff with headlines and news and all that. Kind of making an everything show. Because not everybody likes all parts of the show. Some people like between the headlines. Some people like the decodes. Some people like the homesteading videos. So I just don't know. So we'll do a little bit of everything, and when you guys show up, hopefully there'll be something for you. Look at this sawdust pile here. This is the stuff that I scraped up and put in buckets and then spread all over as much as I could over the lawn. And wherever I dropped it, that's where the grass grew. Now my contractor says let that grow all the way to seed, so it's going to get pretty tall. And he goes, then when you mow it, it'll drop its own seed down again. And then eventually the grass will take over and there won't be many weeds once the grass is established. But I believe this is, I want to say iron rich soil. That's why it's so red. I believe that's what I researched. It's slightly acidic, so that's not so good. You don't want too acidic of soil, but some things thrive in acidic soil. Like I think potatoes thrive in acidic soil. So we'll just figure it out as we go along. Gosh, these all look like marigold leaves or something. I don't know what these are. Guess we'll find out. They look like flowers. Look at that. Oh.
So this is the one I'm wondering. Look at the leaf structure. It looks like a little marigold right there.
It's from the clover. If you know what that is, let me know. Alright, you guys. Should we try to find this? Oh, there he is. There he's back. Can you hear the woodpecker?
Black-capped chickadee. What an amazing bird.
Like this bird's talking to me. This is so cool. I don't know where he is though. There he is. Oh, I see him. Oh, cool. Now these are the birds that are supposed to actually eat out of your hand. I can see him. See him right behind that broken tree limb. See how close we can get. Apparently they're pretty human friendly. Can you see him?
He's like right there.
Can you see him? Oh, there he goes. That's a chickadee. Black-capped chickadee. So if I got some seed, he might like come down here. Maybe I should put seed down on the porch. Okay, let's see. The woodpeckers aren't so friendly. Let's see if we can find the woodpecker. Now the woodpeckers are awesome because they eat ticks. Things are so cool. Ooh, the dark forest. It's pretty thick back there. That's the neighbor's property. Wow, that's loud. Sounds like a jackhammer. Sounds of nature. You never know what you're going to see out here. It's all kinds of strange things. Look at this. So today, the work I did today, I went and visited a friend from the channel, Rose and her husband. Her husband wasn't there, but got to see Rose. Planted some trees, bushes, elderberry trees, bushes, blackberry bushes, and I had to widen this driveway because when I come out in my truck, I had to do a 3-point turn, which defeats the entire purpose of this drive-through driveway. So I had to get a rake and literally rake a bunch of gravel that way. Now what are these for? These are going to be, I'm going to use these as my headers for the garage. These were the forms for the concrete. We pulled them off and I'm like, let's keep those. We can double them up and use at least one of them as a header. Should be enough. I don't think we can use 2. We're gonna have to probably buy some more lumber. But that's down the road. Won't be too much new construction for a while because got to save up some money again. But let's see what's going on over here. Trying to get an angle on this woodpecker. Let's see what he looks like. Boy. Can't really see him. This is the tick log. Apparently there's a bunch of ticks in there and maybe termites. Ooh, what kind of ant is that? Identification, please. It's a red ant. Ooh, next to a black ant. Next to a black ant. Which is a carpenter ant. This is like the Where's Waldo of nature, isn't it? Like, you know how we find stuff in movie decodes and stuff, and then there's the nature's Where's Waldo. Which you guys are all really good at. Whoa, that's a big one right there. Look at that big old carpenter ant. What is up with this propane tank? Why do they love it so much? You do not eat my wood. You will be punished severely. And you too, Mr. Red. They're like all over this thing. Red ants and black ants. The black ones are so much bigger. So, maybe woodpeckers eat ants too. That's a good thing. So, I want to keep this woodpecker around. It's really cool looking. The colors are just so vibrant. Oh, and let's show you this. Here's the other cabinet. So I got both cabinets in. But guess what happened? Now there's water coming inside of my house underneath the unit. So I think the drain pipe got dislodged or something. I don't know, but they're going to come back. I got one door open. Maybe I'll bring you guys inside. Show you what's going on. Ooh, what was that? Oh, there he goes. There's the woodpecker. Whoa, he just flew off. I just saw it here. They got like white tipped wings, so that's how you know. Alright. Let's take you guys inside. Alright. So, here's my problem. I got this unit here, and it's dripping from right here. When I had the cover on, which of course you see I tore the cover off, it was gathering like along the wall here and dripping down into the wall. Not good. So I put this pan here. I can still use this, but you can see there's water in there. Now that the cover's off, it will drip where it's supposed to, which is in the pan, so no problem. But I don't know what's going on. Here's the drain pipe right here. It's probably dripping from wherever this attaches, which I can't see it.
So my contractor and I were troubleshooting this, and he says that the drain pipe is pitched incorrectly. It's pitched to drain right back into itself. Then that's why it overflows. So all we have to do is pitch the pipe downwards, and it'll drain correctly without dripping.
But I'm not about to go in here and start pulling this stuff off because it's made out of plastic and it will break. So, this I bought a couple years ago, probably 3 years ago. I'm glad I brought it with me. It's a electronic arcade basketball. It's a lot of fun and it's great exercise. Put this thing on 90 seconds and you can go at it with, you know, a competitor, and it is a blast, you guys. It's a blast. So that's fun. Same thing with this. I bought this ping pong table a couple years ago and I'm glad I brought it, because this thing is fun too. It's a little miniature one, so it doesn't take up too much space. There's my range. This is my kitchen. This is my little kitchen, you guys. Still roughing it a bit, but that's okay. Good things come to those who wait, right? So, I'm in my little mini fridge. That was Max's, but obviously he went back to California, so I'm borrowing it. And my little kitchen. And one day, I think probably the only piece of furniture I'll have that I'll probably buy is a nice couch, just to sit and look out into nature And that's probably where I'll be doing my videos from now on, editing and all that stuff. Just sit on the couch. And on nice days, I'll be out on the deck, you know, but this was always a dream of mine to have something that was almost sitting inside of nature, but also inside. So God definitely is blessing me. So I'm really excited about that. Now I'll show you the rest of the house in another video, probably in a couple days or something, because this is going to be a long one. I love you guys. Oh, look at this. I'll leave you guys with this. Look at these rocks. So I found both these rocks. Look at that. So you've got this one. Oh, please help me identify these rocks. Whoa, they like shimmered or something when I was looking at it. It like did something. That has to be related to this, doesn't it? They look the same. They're similar, right? What is it? Is the question. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Take care and be safe.
Now, does anybody have any ideas as to what those rocks were? I'm very curious to see if anybody has any ideas. I looked and I looked to try to identify what those rocks were, and I could not. And then we'll get into some of the rest of these headlines, because there are worms that are invading Texas, and they're eating all the earthworms, and these worms are disgusting. So we'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, Latrec saw the sriracha sauce. Yes, I love sriracha. Max actually turned me on to sriracha. Geodes of some sort. Part of a geode. That's what I thought they were, but I didn't see that cool prickly stuff that's usually inside of a geode. So, petrified wood, some people say. Fossils. Well, I'll keep my eyes out. See what I can find in terms of that. Alright, you guys. Let's get into the last of these headlines today. Some other stories for you. Texas is under attack. Toxic worms are back in Texas due to recent rains and summer-like warmth. Let's see if we can find the story. We'll have to refresh this. There they are. Let's wait for this ad to play. So, this is unbelievable. The Texas Invasive Species Institute says it is receiving reports of sightings of an invasive species of flatworms. They're not toxic to some animals, but are predators to some worms. The hammerhead flatworm, thought to have entered the country in the early 1900s, landscaping material. But since then, the population has exploded in areas with a warm, wet climate. Look at this disgusting thing. A hammerhead flatworm. Look at the size of it. Apparently, these things eat earthworms. Let's play this here. Weird, right? Have you guys seen any of these? For those of you that live in Texas. The Institute said once it usually receives a report of worms leaving their underground ecosystems from the winter season, it usually means they've been out in an area for a while. Neither have just not been reported or seen by humans. So, the flatworm. The hammer-headed flatworm. Well, done a lot of videos on the IamLegend movie and the IamLegend scenario. And apparently there's supposed to be a sequel coming out. I think Michael Jordan's going to be in it. Not the basketball player, but the actor. And the premise of the original movie was that science had found a cure for cancer. How did they do it? By messing with people's DNA. And everything was just fine until, of course, a mutation occurred, which turned the entire human race, well, most of the human race, into rabid zombies. They began to feed on the people that were left over, who had to run and hide. Now, these zombies were light sensitive. They didn't come out during the light. The UV rays would kill them or hurt them or burn them. But they continued to evolve into deadly predators. So, Will Smith was in that original film, and we've done a lot of work on Will Smith and what his name means as it pertains to the zombie movie. His name actually is all about the injections, isn't it? Will, the willowing, alopecia. Remember the bald zombies in I Am Legend? Well, I remember a particular scene in I Am Legend where he captures a female zombie and she's laying on the table. And all I could keep thinking of was how much she resembled his wife, Jada Pinkett, who has alopecia, found under a willow tree. You can't make this up. And the word Smith means to smite or to stab or to poke. And that's what he did in the movie. He injected the zombies to try to find a cure, didn't he? So here we are in the I Am Legend scenario, because now they're saying they have finally found a vaccine for one of the most deadliest forms of cancer, which is pancreatic cancer. Now this pancreatic cancer is one of the scariest cancers ever, because you don't know you have it until it's too late. It's already gone throughout your body. There are very few signs that you have it. And what ends up happening is it's a very, very quick death. We've seen several people that are prominent figures and actors that have fallen to this. Pancreatic cancer is notoriously hard to detect and treat. It is widely known as the silent disease because symptoms, including abdominal pain and weight loss, often don't arise until the cancer cells have spread to the blood vessels and tissue. Many of you will remember Alex Trebek. He died after being diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And there were many others. Very few people survive this. It's almost 100% death fatality. So, they have this new vaccine. Of course, it's mRNA technology. And we are closely approaching the I Am Legend scenario. Because once you start tampering with DNA, then all bets are off. Wow. Now, there's a phrase out there, isn't there, that isn't really politically correct to say anymore. And it's when someone gives you something and then they take it back. I think Gavin Newsom fits this description pretty well right now, after he assigned a task force to figure out how they're going to make reparations to black people for slavery. So he sets up a task force, and then when they come back with a number for him, he says he's not going to pay it. Why isn't he going to pay it? Because the big secret is that they were never intending on giving black people a dime. Nor should they. Reparations only deepen the racial divide, stokes racial hatred. And could you imagine being punished for something that your forefathers did 3 generations ago? Now, why do I say punished? Well, because any reparation that a black person received would mean that everybody else's taxes would go up who's not black, right? And in fact, even black people's taxes would go up. Even though they're getting some of that money back, or most of that money back, taxes go up across the board, because that's what would pay for these reparations. And here's what I believe. I believe any black person, what they should ask for is that the current playing field is even. That's all that matters. Even the playing field. And I believe it is even right now. And here's what's going on. The controllers know that the playing field is tilted toward the wealthy. And so what they do is they distract everybody by stoking the racial divide and making people think that the playing field isn't fair, so to take the focus off of themselves, don't they? So they gaslight all groups. to give them false hope so that we keep giving them our approval and our votes. Now, this is kind of funny, but it's sad at the same time, because Gavin Newsom is tap dancing like Shirley Temple right now. Let's read this. The Hill. Newsom declines to endorse specific recommendations from Reparations Task Force. He declined to endorse specific recommendations, which voted last week to recommend proposals that could result in California's black residents receiving billions of dollars in reparations. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Newsom said that the legacy of slavery is about much more than cash payments, but did not say what kind of proposals he would support. Recommendations offered by California's Reparations Task Force would need to be approved by the state legislature and then signed by Newsom to be enacted. The task force's independent findings and recommendations are a milestone in our bipartisan effort to advance justice and promote healing, he said in a statement. This has been an important process. We should continue to work as a nation to reconcile our original sin of slavery. Wow. And understand how that history has shaped our country. Now, look, if the federal government had a business that was profitable and they wanted to use that money to right the wrongs of the past, then maybe they have a point. Now, I wouldn't recommend millions. That sounds like too much, right? A lot of people just need, a little bit of money to get on their feet, or a little bit of money to build a homestead or something, right? But, of course, the United States government is not going to use their profits of any business that they have to do such a thing. They're going to put the burden on taxpayers. And all that does is continue to divide everybody, because there are unfair things that happen to all races of people, isn't there? There's an old saying that sometimes the negative things that happen to you as a child from your parents makes you a better parent, because you don't want to repeat the same mistakes that your forefathers made, right? And sometimes we grow out of negative things that happen to us, don't we? I know that I was a much better father than my father was, because I didn't want to repeat the same mistakes. My father did a lot of things. He beat my mother. He wasn't around because he couldn't control his temper. And my mom had to, rescue us away from him. And so, of course, I wasn't like that with my kids. I didn't harm them. I didn't beat them and terrorize them. But, it's crazy. So, sometimes it makes you better. So, once each generation is born, they have a chance to make things better, regardless of what happened to the people in the past. And there were slaves from all races. And I know that it was an institution focused mainly on people of color, but there were other people of different races who also endured slavery and hardships to try to create a life for themselves. All right? We are one human family, and the fact that there isn't slavery anymore and that a black person can go to high school, graduate, go to a college, make a career, learn any trade they want, be paid, be treated fairly for their jobs and rent and all those things, means that we've come a long way. And maybe we should just focus on that. Okay? Not allow the left to gaslight us and make us think that they're going to do something to help us, when all that's doing is continuing the negativity and the racial divide. So, they admit here in this article that there ain't enough money to give out all this money to people of color. They admit it right here. The panel's economists said this would cost California $800 billion. Wow. So there isn't enough money to give out all this money. It would bankrupt California, and they knew this from the beginning, but they were going to make people believe and gaslight them into thinking that they were going to give them a bunch of money. How messed up is that? Now, let me go back in the chat, and then I'm going to share my very last story with you guys today. a bizarre oddity. And I want to cover that. Many of you will remember this particular post from Instagram that I put up 24 weeks ago. And it was a frog sitting inside of a gas pump. What is that about? And this was weird. I was like, why is this frog inside this gas pump? That's literally a gas pump at the gas station. It kind of freaked me out when I went to grab the pump. Look at this. This just came through my Facebook feed. Out of Arkansas. A snake inside of a gas pump. Now, the logical conclusion would be to think, I wonder if the snake is going after the frog, because snakes eat frogs, right? Or maybe both snakes and frogs love the smell of gas or are attracted to the fumes of the gas. Weird, right? Look at this snake. I don't even know what kind of snake that is. I don't think it's poisonous, but I'm not very good at snake identification yet. Let's go back into the chat and see what you guys are up to now. During the Where's Waldo of the Ozark portion of the show, if there was some input that you wanted to put into the show and like give some answers about some of this stuff, please put it in the comment section if I missed your chat comment. All right. Medusoid humanoid says rattlesnake. Oh boy. Diamondback. Yeah, sitting right in the gas pump. Can you imagine? Because you wouldn't expect that, would you? A snake like inside of a pump. So you could actually get bit like that because you go for the pump. Yeah, and I wonder if all this is, Cheryl says that the ants were crawling on the propane tank. I wonder if all this is related to something. I wonder if it's all related. The ants on the propane tank, the snake on the gas pump, the frog on the gas pump. Weird. Zavuya says, the tree stump that you rolled down the hill, make a bench out of it. Yeah, someone said that. That's a great idea. Get out the chainsaw and start cutting on it. Make like a bench out of it. That's a great idea. The GMO label has changed to biological engineered food ingredients. Oh, wow. Hognose snake. I've had rat snakes in my house, says Carol. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to pop off here, you guys. It's raining cats and dogs. I don't even know if you can hear me through this live show. But I love each and every one of you, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. And I will likely see you tomorrow, but if not, over the weekend. Take care and be safe, everybody.